Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video, just wanted to give you guys a few more details regarding the upcoming patch 4.35. The patch that is not only going to introduce a little bit more Hildebrand, but also the heavily anticipated Heaven on High, the second deep dungeon that Final Fantasy XIV has gotten, the first being Palace of the Dead. So in this video, we're going to go over the release date, which, by the way, July 3rd, predicted release date, that or the week prior. For those of you who aren't too familiar with our patch cycle, patch 0.05 or 0.x5 patches like 4.35, 4.25, etc. Those are usually 5 or 6 weeks after the initial launch of the patch. As you can see here on the 4.3 website, May 22nd was that day. So July 3rd, I believe, falls on exactly the 6th week. It seems like they've moved from a 5-week to a 6-week. I don't know if there's any particular reason, if it's because the 0.1 patches or the 0.x1 patches have actually had more frequency, or there's been more prevalent content in them, such as Ultimate. But that's how it's worked for the time being. Maybe they just wanted to keep the number of weeks equal. But July 3rd puts it at just under 2 weeks from when I'm making this video. Now, they updated the 4.3 website for even further Hildebrand Adventures, of course, with a little bit of a description at the bottom. Hildebrand saying that he's back in action and it's time to catch that wolf burglar. He even makes fun of a favorite quote from the most recent Rabanastre. Not Royal City of Rabanastre, from the most frequent Ridorana Lighthouse. I don't know why I said Rabanastre. Ridorana Lighthouse. Injustice is a cancer, and Hildebrand is now the barbarous blade. I don't believe that for even a remote second, but if you say so. And then we get a little picture of Nashu. Listen, I haven't unlocked the normal Aesthetician. I definitely don't trust Nashu with scissors any more than I trust the original Aesthetician. In fact, I trust her infinitely less with those things. So, looking forward to that. The Hildebrand, it started off weak because of the way they introduced it. The last patch with him was a significant improvement in terms of comedy value, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in patch 4.35. Of course, the other thing, were there any other pictures other than that? Nope, just the one picture of Nashu. And then, of course, we have Heaven on High, the next deep dungeon. As we know, this is the giant tower in the Ruby Sea, for anyone who didn't know that already. And now that we've discovered a secret entrance, the Confederate leader Rasho wants us to go and investigate it. Now, with Heaven on High, there's been a lot of changes regarding the way that this deep dungeon is going to be handled, as opposed to the way that Palace of the Dead was handled. If you haven't been keeping up, I'll do a brief overview. So, the original Palace of the Dead was 200 floors, and it had features such as the Accursed Horde. It had these ether pool weapons that you could power yourself up with inside, and then eventually take them outside. With Heaven on High, it's only going to be 100 floors. The story is going to be taking place from floors 1 through 30, and you'll also be able to use those earlier floors, in fact, technically all of the floors, to level your jobs between levels 61 and 70. Upon entering, your job will probably be limited to 61, and then you'll have to get to level 70 inside of there, which shouldn't be all too bad considering how few floors there actually are inside. Once you're inside, on top of that, the floor layouts are random. The types of enemies you'll encounter are set depending on which floor range you're actually entering on, and there will be a boss every 10 floors. On top of that, after floor 30, if you're looking for a serious challenge for 4-player parties, floors 31 through 100 are just going to be harder. There's going to be tougher enemies. They're going to be doing more random stuff. There's going to be way more enemies. The number values on their attacks, their health, it's all going to go way, way up after floor 30. Yoshida, in a recent interview I did with him, even said that they realized that with Deep Dungeon, the original one, Palace of the Dead, that people really only liked floors 180 through 200, and so they wanted to make that difficulty a lot more consistent throughout Heaven on High. So I'm curious to see just how much more difficult, or how quickly the difficulty scales going from floor 31 to 100 in the upcoming Deep Dungeon. You'll be able to get a weapon similar to the Palace of the Dead weapon from there, and they've also overhauled that system, so you don't need to give away huge chunks of your ether pool, or whatever they actually decide to call the weapons inside of Heaven on High. And you can instead give away 10 weapon and armor at the same time in order to get a token, and every however many tokens gets you a weapon. So it's going to be a little bit more streamlined in order to get through this one. On top of that, there's going to be some commanders that have been removed, commanders that have been incorporated. On top of that, you'll be able to find summons like Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan, which can wipe out all the enemies on an entire floor. So there's a lot of little changes here that add up to what should be a much more concise experience, especially for those of you looking for more challenging 4-player content in particular. I'm curious to see if there are any red mages that can get this solo out of the way in the first couple of months, whereas Palace of the Dead has only had, I think, 4 worldwide clears of someone soloing from floor 1 to 200. Floor 1 to 100 should be similarly difficult, but much less floors, so maybe a little more motivation to get moving on that front. Now, I'm sure there are little details here and there, such as the rewards that I've missed. A dodo mount and a new hairstyle are among two of the probably many rewards that are inside of the new Deep Dungeon. But that should be a general overview. If you're looking for some more light party content, an alternative to leveling that has no restriction on jobs from 61 to 70, in case your dungeon queues are a little too long, this should definitely help with that. And hopefully it's a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I plan on tackling it when it first comes out. I want to clear to floor 100 as quickly as possible. And on top of that, give it a little bit of solo time on both Monk and the probable only job that's going to be able to make it through in the end, the Red Mage. But anyway, let me know what you think about patch 4.35. Again, that's hitting on July 3rd. And if you're looking forward to it, what kind of challenges, what kind of difficulty you'd like to see in Heaven on High, what kind of rewards that you're hoping for. Let me know all that in the comment section of the video below. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap. I've got a bunch of Final Fantasy XIV related videos to catch up on. I've done barely any since Uwu came out, other than Uwu related videos directly. So let me get working on that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.